How's it going, everyone? We're here to check out this week's potential top skins. If you're new and don't know what that means, it doesn't mean all of these like 100 skins will make it into the shop or that they ever will. It just means they have the potential to, thus the words potential. So 8 to 10 are picked by the game's lead dev and creator Helk every week, and then pretty much it moves on to what the next week's worth of skins are. Sometimes popular sets can continue, but you know, it just depends. But one way or another, I'm going to apologize for two things ahead of time before we get into the video. One, I am in a great deal of pain. I pulled some kind of weird something in my back and side, and it hurts to sit, it hurts to lay down, it hurts to walk. It's not fun. And on top of that, there is a helicopter, military helicopter circling around everywhere. They're doing some kind of air drills at the Air Force Base. I completely forgot what an Air Force Base was called for a second there. The Air Force Base nearby, and they are incredibly loud, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to cut them out of my video completely. So if that's there, hey, it's not a new thing in Rust. It is actually IRL helicopters in and around my house. So jumping in, we've got a very simple kind of idea: the Street Thug beanie and bandana. And yeah, it just kind of has this thing where it looks honestly like the whole thing's painted up with blood. So yeah, there it is. And if you look, I think it says Thug on the side there in blood. So yeah, but you also have like a little character right there, which I believe stands for Force. So yeah, I don't know. One way or another, some people might try to say it's gang-related stuff. I don't think this was meant to be, but there it is. Next up, we've got the hemp boonie hat and poncho, and now this one is kind of just here for the laughs and the look at it, because, I mean, I don't think Helk will put in a literal weed set. I know it's hemp, which is technically a different thing, but one way or another, it'd be weird to see it pop in, but hey, it would be camo, and it would also be funny, so you never know, it might have a chance. And the first version of the vest was kind of weird, but they've updated, and it looks more or less like an actual kind of vest of leaves kind of sewn together instead of kind of a flat something. The hat does look a little rough in some places, but I mean, it's kind of the best you can do with leaves. Maybe they could have put a little bit more here in the forehead, but I don't know. One way or another, how do you guys feel about this silly one? And speaking of silly ones, we've got a hide vest and pants for you. It's the frog hide set. And yeah, this is just a really great set. I mean, the whole thing's made to look like the frog boots. And I think that's just something a lot of people would really love. And you got the same little froggy face there, like someone literally tore apart some frog boots to make the vest. Definitely a fun idea that I could see a lot of people wanting to grab. Next, we've got a very dapper set for you with the Aristocratic Punk set by Mishka. And yeah, it just has kind of like a very kind of clean cut look. And then you have that kind of, you know, well, I guess he's going for like an Aristo punk, so there you go. I don't know if that's really it. It is different from steampunk, and there's gas punk, there's all sorts of different stuff, so hey, that could be a thing. All right, one way or another, it's a very, very clean and fresh looking set. As I said beginning there, very dapper. I could see a lot of people liking this one for sure. Next, we've got the turtle pants and hoodie. And this one, I mean, you can see obviously there's kind of a go for the old kind of comics look, and maybe that kind of Ninja Turtles feel a little bit. So I don't know if that's something that hits a little too close on parody. None of it looks specifically like any of the Ninja Turtles. It's just a humanoid shape with a turtle shell strapped to it. So, I mean, it's generic enough, so I don't know. I also kind of like it has like a bit of a cel-shaded kind of look to it again. It gives that kind of comic look, very kind of like drawn feel. So, I don't know. How do you guys feel about this turtle set? Next up, we've got this stylish set, and it starts with a money sign instead of an S, just so you know how stylish it is. And yeah, there you go. One way or another, purples and magentas and pinks with some white highlights, and you've got some skulls and crossbones everywhere. So there you go. It even comes with a nice silver chain, not a gold chain. You're not quite there yet. Plus, I mean, would gold really go with this? I don't know. Next, we've got the cheddar set, and yeah, we've seen some funny cheese pieces and so forth make it in, so who knows? I mean, this is very on the melty, goofy, silly, ridiculous side, and yeah, who knows? But one way or another, I mean, hey, we saw a SAR, I think, or is it an AK make it in? I tell you, everything starts to blend together after a couple thousand skins, but one way or another, they're, you know, hey, it's goofy. Sometimes those kind of things make it in, and they did a good job at carving it out. Next, we have the shiny set by Verduk, and as you can see here, it kind of just has like a shimmery, kind of overly glossy. I feel like it would almost feel something like, I don't know, it almost looks like that windbreaker material. You know what I'm talking about? I think you all know what I'm talking about. And that mixed with like a very kind of thick poly something polyester. I don't know, one way or another way you can see it does have a little bit of a tactical look, kind of like a faded camo, kind of too pinkish hue to it going on. So we've got a couple deer skulls for you, and this one is part of the cursed set, as you should recognize if you're familiar with it here, with the see, I told you guys some problems, bear with me. Clothing pieces on the back here, the cloth draped around with a nice little belt. I like the belt going through the front there, definitely looks cool. And yeah, then you've got kind of a little extra skull drawn on there to match the rest of the set. And we've got kind of an odder looking one here with the hard suit hood. This has two versions, one without this kind of like front part, but I feel like without the horns, the front parts may be kind of lame. I feel like maybe horns adorned with some armor pieces could have maybe worked, or maybe even kind of like a gold brass color to them or something. I don't know. How do you guys feel with just the face part on this one? I mean, it's worked with other things like the Raven and so forth. I feel like he kind of looks like an armadillo, maybe in a way. So, hey, maybe that could be the vibe going. Next, we've got the Cactus Road Sign set by Anubis Dunk. And yeah, we've seen a few different cactus things from them. So this is a nice evolution of the set. You got kind of a darker colored cactus, matches kind of the in-game ones a little more. And then you've got these beautiful little pink flowers around it. Like how they're kind of going on the straps and like parts underneath. And then if you look, you've got the two on the top as well, and adorned here and there across like the shoulder and the front of the plates there. Then we've got the cyber helmet, the cyber armor, and the cyber kilt. So there you go. I mean, we got the face mask and the chest piece, I think, which were cyber mask and chest. So hey, I wouldn't be surprised to see these ones pop in. You've got nice kind of little treads going on for the bands everywhere, and then everything else is that same Cybertruck color. The whole thing just makes me laugh. Yeah. So there you have it. This one could be a possible contender this week. Alright, next up we've got some boots and gloves for you. The first ones are going to be the Damascus ones, and as you can see, they kind of have this nice little armor shielded wrist protection going on there for the gloves. And then we come down to the boots. The boots are actually truly unique in a couple ways. First, if you look at them from the front and top, it just has a very different look with how they sculpted them. But then if you come around to the side, there's this soft area, and it actually almost makes it look like you're barefoot. And then if you look, it has kind of that fat bottom. It's sinking into the ground a little bit, but it almost looks like ancient kind of Roman sandals, you know, tie-up old sandals. with some adornment, and I think that's a really kind of clever look. It makes them very unique from most boots that are out there. And our other set we have this week is the panda cosplay, and here you can see there's a cute little panda on the outside, or top of the palm I should say, and you've got some little white knuckles to go along there, but the rest of it is pretty much just kind of a plain glove. And then when we come down to the boots, you've got the cute little ears and the panda face strapped on there, and the rest kind of looks like, you know, any of the other cosplay sets. But one thing, I saw this and I was like, is that glow stick last time? And a few of you were like, wait, wouldn't that be cool if it was bamboo? And you know what? That's definitely a little bamboo stick. So good on you guys there for catching that one. Next we have the roadside chest piece and face mask. And the whole thing just looks like it's reinforced with rubber from some old tires. And then you've got some old like racing stripes straps with leather here. And the front is cut out. So as you can see, the whole, you know, eye portion is gone. So that does make this unique in that aspect. The rest of it is pretty much, you know, very kind of plain, especially the back there. But then in the back here, you have more rubber, the big old screws and straps. So it's definitely a very rusty kind of set. Next, we've got the Forest King set by Kapesh. And as you can see here, it just has this, I guess, I don't know. To me, it looks like a kind of Eastern Asian kind of theme going on. I might be wrong, but one way or another, it's not this nice gold trim, and you've got these very kind of regal straps, very carved out. Lots of nice sculpting going on here with the set. And on the back, you do have the scales. Now, some of them do kind of look like something else, the way they're shaped there. So I don't know about that. But as you can see, the mask has some very cool sculpting on the back and sides as well, with all the little adornment details to the kind of like dragony-esque look to the Forest King here. Next, we've got another one, and it's a kind of a simple concept. A lot of people have tried a stone kind of armor set, and I don't think to this date we've really gotten one. So hey, it's another attempt at it, and this one looks pretty good. It all looks kind of like carved stone was used to make the whole chest piece and face mask, including the part that goes over your dome. So ouch, man, look at that stony strap. That does not look very fun. One way or another though, I have to say it's definitely one that would help you blend in a little bit. You know, bushes, you might crouch and look like a rock a bit. Hey, you know, who knows. Next, we've got the Nebulon set by Chillig, and man, this is crazy. It's like this alien creature, man. You've got the extra little jaw and all these little pieces jutting off, and kind of like a skeletal exoskeleton thing going on, including with dripping pores. I'm not sure what that is. Then kind of a very cybery looking spine thing going on here with the bone plates and everything. Definitely a really unique set, and I can see a lot of people wanting to wear this one. And I mean, it is white, so it would mostly also blend in the snow. I mean, the green doesn't glow or anything, so it's not like it would be a huge give-off. Alright, let's move on to our deployables. First off, we've got some sleeping bags for you, and we've got the Dark Knight for you. And this whole thing has a very kind of regal fabric with studs, and then you've got this beautiful sword that's all engraved. And then you've got engraved decorative plating along the sides here, and looks like it's kind of got that, like, you know, barbed wire chain kind of thing going on. Even the pillow itself looks like it's made out of chainmail with a crown insignia on it. Definitely very cool. Then over here we've got what could be the start to a set with Happy Corn sleeping bag. The door got accepted, and now there's a sleeping bag that exists, so we'll just have to see this week. Will this be something that continues along? Then we've got a very kind of blended in sleeping bag with the Frozen sleeping bag by Vlek. As you can see, you put this in the right place in the snow biome and it will blend in quite well, especially hidden in the right bushes near some rocks. Moving on, we've got some furnaces for you, and I'm going to do like a back view here of where you can see them not lit, and then we're going to come back and light them real quick. Especially because most of these look very different once they've lit up during the day, and when there's a significant difference like that, I want to show it to you guys. So we've got the Unique Artifacts Furnace, the Mossy Wood Furnace, and the Monolith Furnace. Now I think you'll know what I'm saying, because look at this with the Unique Artifact. You can see the copper actually like lights up in it, and the whole thing just changes color. And the glow, just very, very cool. And then over here you can see a very nice glow that comes through even during the day. on the logs with the mossy wood furnace. And then lastly, you've got this really cool glow that even pops during the day with the monolith furnace. Then over here, we've got some boxes. First up, it is the Brutalist box. This has been another set that has got almost every single piece in. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw this box pop in. It just has that really dark, gritty, rusty taste, you know, it really fits right in. So I could see this one making a lot of people happy. Next, we've got the large sealed box. And yeah, this just has a very kind of futury tech look to it. Definitely very neat. A lot of people kind of like this design, but not always the developers too much. So hey, we could see how that goes. But if it popped in, I could see a lot of people liking it just for its glow and its kind of futury design. Moving on, we've got a continuation to this secret cargo set by Legacy with the ammo box. Definitely a very nice labeled set for sure, especially with the glow, which we'll get to here shortly. Then we've got the Outer Planets fridge for you. Also an easy no-brainer, since this is a very popular set. Then moving on, we've got some rugs. First one up is going to be the Neon Decorative Rug, which has like a little neon ring that has a bunch of ivy around it. Then over here, we've got the Dot Skull Rug, which is a very kind of artistic piece. Also looks a little Lego-y kind of, in a way. Then over here, the Cozy Sheep Rug, which looks like a cartoon sheep got skinned and hung on the wall. And I think that's a funny idea. And lastly, we've got the fake mirror wall. And yeah, it's kind of, you know, you can't really get the kind of reflections, but if you panel up a whole area with it, you kind of get this shimmer. It definitely kind of feels like a mirror room. So definitely a clever idea. Moving along, we've got some wooden doors for you. The first one should look pretty familiar, as it is the pirate set, of course. And with this one, it does have some glow as well. Then over here, we have the marked wooden door, which looks like those trees you want to hit those X's on. So I figure we'll crawl back here and take a look at the back of both of these doors. There we go. Then as we continue on to our metal doors, our first one here may look like wood, and it's called Wood Split, but it is a sheet metal door. Then we have the Little Creature metal door, explosive door, hand-drawn door, which also comes in a colored version, but I really feel like the hand-drawn white version looks much better. Then we've got the Graffiti Love sheet metal single door. We do have the double door, so this is also something, hey, maybe we'll get the single. Moving along, we've got this crazy sculpted, like, skull of amber and everything going on. The King of Loot sheet metal door. And lastly, the bunker door. Then we've got a couple doubles for you, starting with the Forged Element sheet metal door, which kind of has a nice little fancy look to it. And then, well, we've got very similar kind of fanciness with the Salisbury sheet metal door. Moving on to our garage doors, there's the Neon Hazmat, Tomb of the Octopus, which, man, I mean, that box looked cool, but it really translates great onto a garage door. Then we got the Giuseppe garage door. I hope I'm saying that right. Factory Fence garage door, and you'll notice it does have some transparency. So that's worth noting. And then speaking of transparency, we have even more on our next door. You can see right through the whole center basically there. Then you've got all these little CPU fans. It's the cooling system garage door. It also has a version that doesn't have the transparency, which is always a smart thing to do. Then over here we got more transparency, this time at the top with kind of a circular grill, and it's the crime scene garage door. Moving on, we've got the big mouth garage door. This comes in a blue and a red, And I don't know about you guys, but to me, this looks a lot like a Mr. Meeseeks with Cheetos for eyebrows. But I don't know. Hey, you never know. There's been some goofy stuff accepted, so hey, look at me. Anyways, I'm Mr. Meeseeks. Yeah. Anyways, SWAT armored door. This thing is really badass looking. It just fits an armored door skin so well, and oh man, I could see a lot of people wanting to grab this one for sure if it made it in. Very good use of the two different sides as well for that one. And then lastly, of course, we've got the Neon Vibes double armored door for you. This is also another one that could be an easy no-brainer for this week, as this set has been very popular and most pieces have made it in. So let's go ahead and kill the lights, take a look at the glow on these pieces here. We'll cruise on down to the next ones here. Nice little blue glow on the critter there. Just cracks through the wood. That's not wood. And then that nice kind of ghostly green fluorescent kind of glow to the pirate set. Definitely fits it very well. We have the neon rug. That Outer Planets fridge. Definitely like the little added glow inside. And then there's the glow on our boxes. We have our furnaces for you. And then, man, just look at how that one just comes alive and glows. Very, very cool effect. Alright, moving on to tools and weapons, we've got the next piece in the, what I'm assuming is going to be inflatable set. The inflatable hammer. I mean, that's definitely an easy go-to, right? Very fun one. I almost wish it has like a bop noise to go along with it, you know? Then we've got another attempt at the banana tools with the axe nana and pick nana. There you go. I was like, wait a second, that we're jumping a little bit too far ahead there. Now you can see the comb at knife. So there you go. It's pretty great. So, you know, you've got the comb at, which is like, you know, the company, but combat, you get it? Right? Anyways. Moving on, we've got the junkyard saw. And, yeah, this thing is mean looking, man. All sorts of piece together stuff. I could definitely see a lot of people liking this one if it popped in, as it is very, very cool looking and unique looking salvage sword. Next, we've got a boomstick for you with the Souls of the Dead double barrel. So there it has all sorts of pieces of skull melted in with, you know, molten iron tearing through. Then you've got some jaw pieces here. And boom, as the boomstick goes, for our reload. Next, we've got the oil spill python. And, well, it's another nice contender in this little set, or what's starting to become one. And yeah, definitely isn't quite as shiny, I feel like, maybe on the python as it was on the last piece. Still looks good. Aiming down the sights here, you have the same kind of oil effect on the sight, but it looks a little bit lighter, so it does stick out a bit. Then we've got the orange tone python, and yeah, you can just see this whole thing. It looks like it's an old wooden handle with a painted up gun, and it's all painted to look like an old orange. And this is one of those things that looks very handmade and fits the world of Rustic. Aiming down the sights here, you do have a green tip sights, and we'll pop a reload one more time there. Then we've got the Bane Python. You can see it has the same little Bane logo going on there, and the same kind of like acid drip and ooze going on throughout the piece. Then you have that kind of little matrixy green coming through. Aiming down the sides here, you do have a white tip versus the black and green sides. Next, we've got the Quicksilver Python, and this one just looks like a normal kind of black steel python, and then it has this quicksilver melting out of the various parts of it, all around the top, along the barrel, and around just everywhere, basically. Then aiming down the sides here, you do have a nice red, shiny, but not glowing tip. And there we go for our reload. Next, moving on, we've got the holographic Swama, the sap. So there you go. This has a very nice shimmery effect, changing colors very much depending on how the light goes. These kind of guns usually do quite well, so I could see this potentially popping in. Aiming down the sights, you do have a black front and back sight. Last in this group, we move on to our SMGs with the Galaxy Thompson. This whole thing just kind of continues that galaxy look that we've had on various skins here and there. Got that purple yonder, I don't even know what to call it, aiming down the sights. I told you guys not feeling well, sorry. We've got a nice red tip, but it does kind of disappear depending on the light there a bit. Still distinguishable though. And there's that reload. Alright, our next Thompson is the Reckless Thompson. And as you can see, this thing has some really beautiful carving done to it. All sorts of little things kind of in the squiggles there. Aiming down the sights, you do have a kind of, it looks like it's actually a white tip, but it's really just the light shimmering off it. So it is really just that kind of gunmetal on gunmetal for the sight there. Then we've got the Frosty Thompson, continuing Bad Trip's Frosty set. And basically, if you're not familiar with the set, it's a nice frosted coat over the default weapon skins. Aiming down the sights here, of course, frost on frost. Next, we've got a singular custom for you this week, and it is the Pixel Decay SMG. We did see the tools pop in, so hey, maybe some guns might. You never know. Aiming down the sights here, you do have a blue sight versus the black. And you've got this kind of little, I don't even know what to call the design there, but there's like a circle thing. Reminds me of a soda tab for some reason. I don't know why. Then moving on, we've got some MP5s for you. First one here is going to be the Crystal MP5. As you can see, it has a very kind of nice crystal kind of cracked design there in the front. Then aiming down the sights, you've got a nice red tip. Moving on, we've got a very different MP5 for you. This one is much more dirty, and it is the Apocalypse Nomad. This has two versions. One has a modified sight, one doesn't. And this is the modified sight. It might be too much, but who knows. You can also see the sight ring does need some cleanup there in the top of it. As you can see as I move around, there's some pieces left over. But that even happened with the Twitch drop, so hey, who knows there. It can be fixed still. Then, moving on, we've got a very bright MP5 with the Sunflower MP5. This also looks hand-painted, like our orange one earlier, but this has a much more kind of, I'd say, oil paint kind of look to it, I feel. And then you've got the kind of nice shiny orange highlights that pop through. Aiming down the sights, you've got that same orange for the sight. And some faded paint there, showing some of the old gun silver there behind. Alright, and we've got more MP5s starting here. We've got the MP5 Wolf Attack. As you can see, it's had various scratches across it. Has a kind of overall kind of snow and steel look going on with it. Aiming down the sides, you have some very, very red sights to help you zoom on in there. Next, we've got the Thermal Imager. And this one also has some transparency to the sights. This is probably the best kind of version. You don't cut the ring, and it's just a little bit of cleanup. Best chance there, but still most of the skins that have cut sights have always been for charity or some kind of special thing. Next, we've got the MP5 skull head, and this one here is more of a kind of hot rod look going on with the flames and the skulls there. Also kind of dirty and rusty. And as you can see, you've got that kind of rusty ring and a nice black painted tip. Next up, we've got another kind of old, crustier looking gun. It is the Old Gold MP5. This also has two versions, one with a transparent sight, and this is the way this one's been cut, and I don't know if that will make it in. I mean, which version of cut sights do you guys like the most? This is definitely a lot of creativity people are trying out with the MP5s. Then we've got a single SAR for you this week, but it is the Thunder Gold SAR. So this set has been consistently getting some pieces lately. So I know it's not the hoodie and pants, which all of you are begging for. I know, I've passed it on, but it's there. So, but hey, maybe the SAR. Aiming down the sights, you've got that gold tip against the very shiny white as usual. And there's that reload. Next, we've got some ARs, and first up, we've got the Serpent AK. This again has a very kind of hand-painted look. It has a really cool snake that you can see that extends all the way down there, wraps all the way around the gun, which is a neat design. Aiming down the sights, you have a nice red tip and a kind of carved snake. It almost looks like it glows, but it does not. Next in our ARs, we've got the Secret Lab AK. This, we've seen a few other pieces, and I think it translates quite well to the AR. Has a nice sleek look that I think a lot of people would get behind. Aiming down the sights here, you have very kind of unique sights with the various colors, which I think is also cool. Then we've got the Bismuth AK for you right here. As you can see, this whole thing looks like it is made out of bismuth, or at least coated in it, and various pieces are, you know, machined in it. Definitely a very kind of bright color. It might be a little bit close to, you know, the tempered, but I feel with the gold trim and stuff, it's enough unique to be its own thing, especially where it goes more into the greens. But I don't know, how do you guys feel about that? Aiming down the sights here, you do have a red sight as well. Next, we've got the Skullforce AK, and this is a nice continuation in the set. It has that very kind of carved ivory look to it that carries very nicely out onto the various weapons we've seen it on so far. Aiming down the sights here, you do have that black on white sights. And there's the reload. Next, we've got the Atom Punk AR, and yeah, we saw another piece from the Atom Punk set, which was equally awesome looking. This is just got that really retro vibe going on, and the whole Atom Punk thing is just captured beautifully. Aiming down the sights here, you have very kind of chrome versus red for the sights. And there's our reload. Then next, oh, we do have one more AR. Yep, there it is. The Golden Vine AR. And there you go. Aiming down the sights. And our reload. So now we can get to the Pixel Lightning L96. This one definitely translates really well to the Pixel Lightning kind of set. Some of the guns, it looks a little bit off, but this just, I don't know, it just pops really, really nicely. And of course, we'll fire it off and get that reload. And since it's really just our last item, we'll pull down the satchel. And when it decides to load, there you go, cobalt color film. And they just did such a nice job of making this look all retro, and even the film containers for the actual satchel bean cans there, they just did an awesome job. But that's going to do it, everyone. Sound off down in the comment section below. Which ones are you hoping to make it into the shop this week the most? And any kind of feedback you have, I'll try to get it to the right people. If it's not for me, thanks for watching, everyone, and stay rusty.